I'm Jesse with Legend Air Suspension. Today we're with a 2010 Ranger HD. This particular vehicle is for an Air Force base. It has about a 1,600 pound load on the back right now and virtually stock in the front except this heavy bumper and the winch. What's important with an air suspension is to have full wheel travel and the correct spring rate. That's the advantage over a coil shock or a normal suspension. So what I'm going to show right now is how to initially set the suspension and what's the appropriate spring rate and ride quality for the suspension. Right now I have this vehicle with way too much spring rate. It's set up very hard. It would ride harsh and you're at the very top of your stroke. So you're not going to get your ride quality since there's too much air pressure in the system. So right now we've got a very stiff spring rate, which would be good if we had a large snowplow or some other apparatus on the front. We don't need it this stiff. So I've got too much air, too much spring rate. What we want to do is make that spring rate softer. We do that by just releasing a little bit of air out of the system in the front. What I'll show you next, as I release a little bit of air pressure, you'll see that we come down from the top of that stroke. We're going to lose maybe a ½ inch or so of that ground clearance. We're now set up probably at close to our stock ride height, and we've got a nice spring rate. So the vehicle comes back where it needs to. We're not fully extended. We drop about an inch or so from the top when I push on it. What that means is at this spring rate, that these shocks now can stroke all the way through their stroke, absorb the bumps, and utilize that correct air pressure and spring rate. What I'll show you next is a spring rate that's way too soft. You would lose too much of your ground clearance and it'd be a real mushy ride. So you don't want to have it too soft either. You need to be in that happy medium. This is too soft of a spring rate. You can see the vehicle's not coming back to near its stock ride height. I can easily bottom this out, and that's due to that low spring rate. So to get the correct spring rate, you want to emulate that stock vehicle's ride height, not too tall and not too low. Make sure you've got a little inch or two of movement at the top of the stroke. It isn't bouncing back, or the vehicle isn't staying down at the bottom when you put your weight on it like this. Same goes for the rear. And to accommodate for the extra loads, you'll just set that spring rate a little bit higher. That's the appropriate air pressure to start using the suspension. Take the vehicle out and use it. You can make small incremental adjustments to the air suspension while you're driving the vehicle to fine tune it to the terrain or your usage.